A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. In the days when Christ was in the flesh, he offered many prayers and supplications with loud cries and tears to the one who was able to save him from death. And he was heard because of his reverence. Son though he was, he learned obedience from what he suffered. And when he was made perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him. The word of the Lord. Save me, O Lord, in your kindness. In you, O Lord, I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your justice, rescue me. Make haste in delivering me. Be my rock of refuge, a stronghold to give me safety. You are my rock and my fortress. For your name's sake, you will lead and guide me. You will free me from the snare they set for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hands I commend my spirit. You will redeem me, O Lord, O faithful God. But my trust is in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. In your hands is my destiny. Rescue me from the clutches of my enemies and my persecutors. How great is your goodness, O Lord, which you have in store for those who fear you, and which, toward those who take refuge in you, you show in the sight of the children of men.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sisters, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple there whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home. The Gospel of the Lord.
Today is the feast of Our Lady of Sorrows, and we can only imagine the sorrow of Mary standing there at the cross, looking at her son dying in an excruciating way, a terrible, terrible death on a cross. And Mary, we are told, stood there. Something very strong about that. But yet it was her son there, the son that she loved, so we can only imagine, her grief, her sadness at that time. And then with his last breaths, Jesus did something interesting. He we are told that Mary was standing there by the cross, but also the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and we always take that as being John himself, who didn't give us his name, but described himself in that way. And he was there, and Jesus gave them one to the other, gave Mary to John as his mother, and gave John to Mary as her son. And the church has always interpreted that as Mary being given to all of us disciples as our mother. And the Pope in his homily today on that had an interesting take on it. He said that, if we didn't have Mary as our mother in that way, that we'd be just like a rigid association or a rigid organization. That meaning, of course, that the idea of Mary as mother makes us all feel like we're family, and that there's a softness about that, and not just a cold gathering of people. So very nice. So Mary truly is our mother, and the one who truly understands the sad side of life. So always one we can turn to with that understanding. I'm reminded also of listening to that gospel passage and the role of John and all of that John, we're told, took Mary into his care from that moment on. And there's a pious tradition that John went, as the apostles did, spread out to bring the word of the Lord to the world of their time, that John went up into what we call today Turkey, to Ephesus. And a few years ago I had the joy of being in Ephesus and the honor of having Mass at what is known as Mary's house there. So again, a pious tradition that when John went to Ephesus, he brought Mary with him. And that's a place of pilgrimage for many people, even today, that they go to Ephesus, to Mary's house. And doing Mass there was very beautiful. Not right in the house is too small, but they've set up a place beside it for Mass. And as I did Mass there, many people joined in, because there are people coming there all the time. And after Mass, then people came up and they thanked me, and that was very nice. But among those people coming up to me were many Muslims. And it was brought home to me just the devotion that Muslims have to Mary in that way, that we share that with Muslims. And when we hear so much bad press given to Muslim and the Muslim religion today, the religion of Islam, we have some very beautiful things in common, dealing with the mercy of God, and, as we say today, Mary. So let us keep in our prayers, Muslim people too, and that they find God in all his fullness.